Hey everyone, it's Flakfire. Some crazy things happen in Battlefield video games. We call these improbable situations Battlefield moments. With Battlefield 5 returning to World War II, it may surprise you to know that many of these improbable situations actually occurred in reality. Here are 5 Battlefield moments that really occurred during World War II. Shooting down airplanes in Battlefield 5 is a pretty common occurrence, whether that's with another airplane or an anti-aircraft gun. That's what they're designed for, after all. Shooting down an airplane with a tank, however, that's something else entirely. It's one of my favorite things to do in Battlefield games, and it feels incredibly rewarding. It's also incredibly difficult, so it would probably shock you to know it's actually been done in real life. When German Tiger ace Otto Karius was operating on the Eastern Front in 1943, his tank was harassed repeatedly by Soviet aircraft. Karius' gunner, Unteroffizier Heinz Kramer, was upset by this, quote, unrelenting nuisance, end quote, and engaged the aircraft with the Tiger's 88mm main gun. On only his second shot, Kramer struck the plane in the wing, which plummeted to the earth behind the tank. Surprisingly, this feat was reportedly repeated at least once during World War II. An American Sherman gunner managed the same feat in 1945, shooting down a German plane near Kassel in the final months of the war. For the next Battlefield moment, let's talk one of the game's most controversial tactics, plane ramming. Some view the tactic as cheap, but in World War II, it was a valid last-ditch effort by desperate pilots. There are confirmed reports of aerial ramming on all major sides of the conflict. In one such incident during the Battle of Britain, RAF Flight Sergeant Ray Holmes encountered a German bomber flying over London. When his guns failed, Holmes dove his Hurricane into the German bomber, slicing off the entire rear tail assembly of the airplane. Despite the dangerous maneuver, Holmes was able to bail out of his stricken plane and survive. The crew of the German bomber, unfortunately, not so lucky. Next, let's revisit Battlefield 5's reveal trailer. And I realize that's a sore subject for many fans for many reasons, including the conspicuous appearance of a prosthetic arm. You might question its inclusion in Battlefield 5, but it has some very real-world inspiration from all-around badass Vladimir Penyakov. In 1942, British 2nd Lieutenant Vladimir Penyakov formed No. 1 Demolition Squadron in Cairo with the goal of wreaking havoc on Axis positions in Tunisia. Difficulties in pronouncing Penyakov's last name resulted in the unit being renamed to Popskyy's Private Army. The unit conducted several successful raids against enemy positions before being deployed to Italy as part of the ground campaign. On one occasion in Gravina, Popskyy slapped some Italian officer insignia on his uniform, waltzed into a German HQ pretending to be an Italian colonel, and then strolled out with documents revealing the location of an enemy unit Allied intelligence was desperately trying to locate. Unfortunately, Popskyy had his left hand shot off in a separate action soon after. 45 years old and left with one arm, few could blame Popskyy if he simply wanted to just go home, especially after he had already been seriously wounded in World War I. Instead, Popskyy insisted on returning to his unit and leading from the front, attaching a hook to his hand and declaring, quote, "Hell, I can shoot just as good with one hand as I could with two," end quote. Next, in Battlefield 5, many recon players enjoy a good sniper kill streak in game, but there's one real-world legend you'll probably never approach in a single game: Finnish sniper Simo Hauha. During the Battle of Kola in the winter of 1939, Hauha killed a confirmed 505 Russian soldiers. That's an average of 5 a day. Dubbed the White Death, Hauha amassed all of his kills in less than 100 days, and the total only counts those confirmed by Finnish sources. Hauha famously preferred iron sights as it helped conceal his position. Eventually, luck ran out for Hauha, sort of. He was struck in the face by an exploding bullet which mangled half his jaw. Of course, Hauha being Hauha, he awoke from his coma the day peace was declared between Finland and the USSR. Lastly, Battlefield 5's Devastation map on Rotterdam has a unique event that occurs occasionally over the course of a match: a bomber raid. This in-game event is inspired by the actual real-life events that transformed the heart of Rotterdam from a bustling city of neon into a shell of its former self. Though experiencing initial success in the invasion of the Netherlands on May 10, 1940, the German offensive ground to a halt within days. Although outgunned, Dutch forces held advantageous positions in Rotterdam, frustrating the attackers. As a result, German command threatened the destruction of the city unless Dutch forces capitulated. Surrender negotiations had already begun when a horde of German bombers appeared on the horizon. Breakdowns in communication meant that the bombers had failed to hear recall orders and proceeded with their attack as previously planned. German ground forces fired red flares to call off the bombardment, but these were spotted by only one of the bomber formations. 97 tons of bombs fell on Rotterdam, destroying the city center, including the St. Lawrence Church, which appears in Battlefield 5. The bombing event on the devastation map is preceded by air raid sirens and even includes the red flares fired by the Germans. The bombs actually do fall on the playable area of the map and do pose a threat to players. The sky becomes clouded with ash and debris. It's something visually impressive, and it changes the nature of the map instantly. A last fact to remember, almost 900 civilians died during the bombing of Rotterdam, and it could have been worse. Hermann Göring ordered a second bombardment unless Rotterdam was totally occupied. In response, the German commander on the ground in charge of negotiations sent a message in the clear that the city was taken, even though the occupation had not yet been formally completed. That second wave of bombers was recalled just in time. So, which of these only in Battlefield moments is the most interesting to you? I'd like to make this a small series here on my YouTube channel, so be sure to tell me or show me your best only in Battlefield moments in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell for the latest Battlefield 5 videos. I'll be doing some giveaways soon to celebrate the 100,000 subscriber mark. Thank you, by the way. So make sure that you're following on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. The links to those are in the video description. Thanks for all the support over the years, and as always, thanks for watching.